let's take a look over at one of the most expensive cities in the world, New York City, where we have a new head of Tenant housing named Sia Weaver. And Sia says her goal is to make housing worth less, not cost less. She's not interested in helping homeowners get homeownership, which she thinks is white supremacy.
Right.
She's made that clear. The quote was, "It is important to impoverish the white middle class." That's her goal. Quoting directly, "It is important to impoverish the white middle class, and homeownership is racist." You see, she doesn't like Donald Trump's plan. She doesn't want to make it easier for people to afford a home. What she wants is for the government to own all the homes, and then they will decide where you live and where I live and where everybody else lives. And this can be hung around the neck of Mayor Mamdani like an albatross, because he's made clear Sia speaks for him in a newly unearthed clip. Take a listen here. This is from 2021, SOT 27.
I would, first of all, you need to expand rent controls to cover smaller buildings. And they need to be rent controlled. And the reason why they need to be rent controlled is not because rent control is inherently socialist, but because rent control limits the speculative value of the land. Our goal is to have the housing actually be worth less to some degree, right? We don't want this to be an investment vehicle. We want it to be long-term stable homes. We don't need people to become millionaires off their homes.
I get most of my knowledge on housing from Sia. So if you get it from me, it's just not coming from the source.
That's not good.
Not good.
Your thoughts on Sia Weaver and her media tour this week?
Many thoughts. First off, thank you, President Trump, right? When people want to be panicins in the GOP right now and say there's a bunch of infighting and this and that, President Trump, this is an issue Republicans can win on in the midterms. It's something Democrats have wanted for years, independents and folks on the right. We have to stop institutional investors from coming in and buying homes. If you do that and you couple it with mass deportations, maybe young people will be able to have the American dream. So I'm so happy to see President Trump tackling this, because I've said for years, I've shouted it from the rooftops, the thought of owning a home is a distant fantasy for my generation. But it's not just Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and younger folks. I hear from senior citizens, I hear from baby boomers and older who say, we're having to be perpetual renters because we can't afford to have homes. And these are people who've served, been in America their entire lives, paid their dues and paid their taxes. So I'm happy we're going to stop private equity from coming and buying homes. Second, I don't want to hear from Zoran Mamdani or any of his DEI picks on housing, okay? Reverse racism is still racism, okay? Excluding white people on the basis of their skin color or their background, that is still racism.